vector quantization. Okay. Now, what is actually the meaning of vector quantization? This vector quantization is also known as learning vector quantization. Here what we do is, suppose that you want, let us say, 10 people to get classified or 10 different patterns to get classified. So what we do, each pattern is assigned with a particular class. So what we'll do is, let us say a neural network has 10 different neurons. Each neuron is assumed to represent a class CJ. Suppose there are 10 patterns and there are 10 neurons which are participating in the classification. Each neuron is assumed to get classified into particular class CJ. How they are going to update the weight vector? So what actually happens is, suppose that new vector, new weight is equal to old weight plus eta learning rate into input xi minus wij. That is difference of the present input vector and the present weight vector is taken. That is gets multiplied by the learning rate eta, which gets added to the present weight vector to generate the next weight vector. But when you are going to adopt this one, when xk belongs to cj, what is the meaning of this one? Suppose that you have some input xk and that is belong to the class cj. So I have 10 neurons and each one of them represent 1 1. So c1, c2, c3 up to c10. So if the input belongs to C1, suppose the input pattern, whatever xk you have given, that belongs to the class C1, then what happens? You are going to update according to the first one. If that does not belongs to C1, then what you do is same weight W minus eta k into xi minus wij. So if it belongs to one class, then you increase the weight vector. If it does not belongs to the class, then you decrease the weight vector. So this is the another case. Last one is you retain the same weight vector. See here, either it is increased or decreased here, but now you retain here when ij is not equal to j. So this is the pattern in which weight get updated every time. But how do you write the algorithm? Your learning rate is lies between 0 to 1, and continuously the learning rate, remember, should decrease such that at one part of the time your wk plus 1 and wk are almost equivalent, so that you are not going to update your weight vectors, because of which there is no learning in the network. When there is no learning in the network, eta will approximately become 0. That is the aim of this lbq algorithm. Okay, so our aim is to change the weight vector depending on the situation, and to reach to such a stage that successive weight differences will become very small. At that point you stop the training and assume that the network is attained the state in which it is not going to change. Now let us write the algorithm. Input stream of labeled vectors. Okay, there are some patterns which are to be classified, that is given from k equal to 1 to q, which xk belongs to Rn. So let us say there are 20 patterns which you need to classify. All those class vectors xk belongs to Rn. That is the input space. Okay, and each one of them, okay, that belongs to one of the C classes. For example, if there are 20 patterns, you group them into C different classes. Let us say ships, all ships into one category, all human beings into one category. Let us say a door is another category, bus another category, like this. So it is not, it is two things are important: how many data are there and how many of them can be grouped into classes. So all of them must belong to certain classes. That is very important to you. Once you put your input vector into certain classes, then you start training. Okay, first generate the classes. How many different types of classes you have? Let us say, let us take 5 different vehicles. Okay, buses we take, ships we take, aeroplane we take, missiles we take, and let us say cycle we take. These are the 5 different classes which are to be classified. So whichever picture you are giving, that should belong to any one of these classes only. Now what we do, once we generate the classes, we go for quantization vector wj of all the classes to random samples of input data. So one of the input data is taken and that is randomly assigned to one of the classes to test whether it belongs to that class or not. Learning rate schedule. So first have a learning rate nk is equal to 0.1 into 1 minus k by 2q. Okay, where q is the number of samples, k is the iteration index, and initially start with this k to be 0. So have n naught is equal to 0.1. Now maximum number of iterations is equal to q or 2q. So either you schedule for q or 2q. Let us start the iteration with k equal to 0. Now, once you start the iteration with k equal to 0, let us, what we do? Pick a data sample xk from the data stream. So, a given one vehicle to you. That vehicle is picked randomly. It may belongs to a cycle, or it may be a ship, or it may be aeroplane, or something else also. So, one of the input stream is taken directly. Now, find the winning neuron index j. So, what is the meaning of this one? What you do is find the difference between the input xk and one of these patterns. Let us say input xk is something. Find the difference between this and a ship, this and an aeroplane, this and a cycle, and this and a bus, or this and another vehicle. Which one of them generates the least value, difference value, which one of them generates the least value you think. So that's what is given, minimum of j wj minus xk. So one of them will surely generate a minimum value. You should see to it that no two values are identical. Once you do this one, update only winning neuron synapses. That is, let us say your picture is very similar to the ship. I have taken a picture of boat. Boat is very similar to the ship. Therefore, I will update the neuron which represents the ship. So wjk plus 1 is equal to wjk plus eta k into xi minus wj. If that pattern belongs to that class. Suppose if I given, let us say, one aeroplane by chance, let us say aeroplane belongs to class 3, and what has happened, when take the difference of the input from this pattern, the first class has generated the least error. In that case, you know that the pattern does not belongs to class 1. However, it has generated the least error. Therefore, in that circumstance, the second one, xk, does not belongs to cj. This is equal to wij minus eta k into xi minus wij. Remember, if the pattern directly belongs to the class, then go for the second one. If the pattern does not belong to the class, then go for the second one. So any one of these two will happen. Then obtain the next weight update. Once you obtain the weight update, and then you go for updation of the learning rate. Learning rate eta k is equal to 0.1 into 1 minus k by 2q, while k is less than maximum iteration. So you keep updating each one of the weight vectors such that at one point either the weights are completely updated or k is less than maximum iterations. Once k becomes equal to maximum iteration, you are stop updating the weight vector and assume that the weights are not going to get modified further, and assume that yes, network is trained completely. This you have to understand while you go for training. Did you understand this concept? Or any of you have any doubt? Any doubt regarding this one? Any doubt? Did you follow the training method? Okay. So once you obtain the training, now let us go to the next concept, that is self-organizing feature maps. What is going to happen here? Let us say you want to identify a person. Once you want to identify a person, what happens? You will remember his features. Suppose that a person has 20 different features. So some of the very important features you may be able to remember. Those important features are used to recognize that person. For example, person is very tall, person is, let us say, very dark, or person is very fair. Okay, some are a person is very fat, a person is very thin. Some of the very characteristic feature of the person will be there. You will not be able to remember every feature of the human being. That is not necessary also. In this one, what we are doing, if there are, let us say, 20 features for a particular person, we are not able to use all the 20 features. We reduce those feature set into a small dimension which involves one or two features only. What are those one or two features which characterize a person? So that is to be determined by your network. That is what is done in dimensionality reduction. Okay, dimensionality reduction should not mean that you sacrifice all the information in the pattern. Okay, so dimensionality reduction majorly involves understanding a pattern with minimum number of feature set. That is very important. So what we do in the pattern recognition, an important step is to identification of set of features which concentrate essential information of the input pattern set. Okay, so out of given patterns, how many features are really important which can be used to classify a person? Okay, so that we will do for every pattern, and the network will be able to recognize a pattern depending on minimum number of feature set of a particular pattern. That is the total idea behind the self-organization feature map. Are you clear? Are any doubt you have? Are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how we do this one? Let us see. A topology preservation means the basic idea in self-organization feature map is to build a neural network model. First, you should build a model which based on discovery of topological information prevalent in high dimension input data. So, build a neural network that will transform a vector of multiple dimension or multiple feature into a two-dimension layer of neurons. So input layers will have, let us say, 20 neurons, output will have only 2 neurons or 3 neurons. So what is actually happened is a dimensionality transformation of many neurons into few neurons will should happen from that neural network. But how do you do that? So let us consider an input, consider an ith neuron which produces a response I with reference to the input ik. So you are given an input ik to a neuron, one of the neurons, ith neuron, that will produce an output sk. So input vector is ranging from 1 to q, that is ordered according to some distance matrix. So there are many input vectors that are given to the neural network. What a neural network will do? Neural network will determine the distance of input stream with the weight vector. Whichever generates the least amount of distance between input and the weight vector, that will be taken and that will be considered as a winning neuron. So remember this uh, coherence self-organization feature map, this is SOFM, represent an approach by means which important topological information can be obtained. So what we do, a pattern is presented to the neural network, okay, which has linear array of neurons. Most of the times input neurons are linear, and those neurons will interact with the input pattern, and which are going to, one of the neurons or let us say a group of neurons are going to win them. For example, let us say input pattern is a dog pattern. I want to recognize a dog. Whenever I give a picture of the dog to the neural network, it should be able to recognize. So which features of the dogs are very important? So what I will do, I have, let us say, 20 different features. Each one, I will build a neural network with 20 neurons. Each one of the neural network neuron will find the distance between a feature that is extracted from the picture with the input xk. So once only a group of neurons which will generate a least distance. Those neurons are called as winning neurons. It is not a single neuron, but it is a group of neurons. Those group of neurons which generate least amount of distance are able to train themselves. So only those neurons will update their weight structures. Remaining losing neurons will not update. Next time I'll give one more pattern. Instead of, let us say, a neurons from 1 to 5, now 5 to 6, 5 to 7 may be able to generate the new values of the weight vector. So like this, the modification of the weight will happen, where group of neurons will update themselves depending on whether they win. If they don't win, they are not going to update, and the weights will remain unchanged. So this process continues until all the weights of input vectors are updated at all. Once they are updated, now we'll go for the operational details. So let us consider a two-dimensional input, that is x1 and xn. Okay, so many are there. So this has a neuron of m cross m neurons. That is, input is m and output is m. Now, how do you generate a map? Okay, so what we do is, input neurons to be exposed to sufficient number of different inputs. So whenever there are so many number of input neurons, you have to train them with different number of inputs. Okay, for example, let us say, if you are training with a dog, different types of dog pattern that should be given to the neural network, which will be trained. Now, once you're given a particular input, only winning neuron and neighbors adopt their correction. For example, once you are able to, let us say, one neuron wins this one, this neuron and the subsequent next one or previous one is going to update the weight vector. The neurons which lose the competition will not update their weight architecture. So this process will be done for all the neurons. So every time a single neuron will not get updated. So once it learns, in the next time it loses the competition. Next neuron which has the least distance, it is going to update the weight vector. So this process continues, and ultimately all the neurons will be able to learn the pattern whatever you have given. Okay, so once you have learned all the pattern, you present the next input xk, which have x1 to xn. So all these inputs are presented to the field of neurons. So each neuron is identified by a row or column index I, j. Now, once, let us say, in n11, n12, n13, similarly n21, n22, n23, something like that, n1 up to n cross n. So these many number of neurons are there, which will identify the best matching weight vector. So once the best matching weight vectors you obtain, and you know that each time whichever neuron has the least distance between the input and as well as the weight vector, that keeps learning. So once the learning is complete, then what we do, we are going for the adaptation. How do you go for adaptation? I'll give only final equation, which is very important. A new weight vector w dot ij is equal to eta. Eta is the learning rate. Sij, that is a signal function, xl minus wij. So how do you take this signal function Sij? Signal function Sij is a binary value. If this is equal to 1, if ij belongs to nij, so the Sij is a 1 for the winning neurons. For non-winning neurons, it will become 0. So only the winning neurons, this will become 1, and those are going to learn and modify the weight vectors according to the uh, eta. That is a learning value. If the neuron does not win the competition, so it is assumed that it is trained completely. You are not going to train it sufficiently so that eta Sij will become 0. Then it is not going to make its weight vector, and it will become 0. Therefore, so your final wij is equal to eta into xi minus wij if it belongs to the pattern. If it does not belong to the pattern, it is not going to learn, it will remain unchanged. So this is for a particular cluster. Once you update the neurons in the particular cluster, in the next iteration, some neurons in the another cluster are going to get updated because of the input. And learning rate and the neighborhood are both of the functions of the time, and they keep changing. So as an builder keep building the network, the learning rate keeps reducing. At one point of a time, wk plus 1 will be very nearly equal to wk, and you are not going to learn it again. So weight vectors are optimized to indicate that I'm not going to learn because I learned the complete pattern. Okay, this is a whole idea behind the training of the network in the unsupervised manner. Are you clear? Any doubt? Any doubt here? Did you follow the weight updation procedure?
Mm,
Any doubt regarding this one? Any doubt? Are you able to
no,
follow?
sir.
Okay. Now let us see the algorithm operational summary. Let us consider a stream of training vectors xk, which is drawn uniformly from possible unknown probability distribution. Means there are some inputs, let us say 10 or 20 inputs. One of them is randomly chosen, which will participate in the training. Now, initially, the weight vectors will have some small random values, and neighborhood values also will be random only, and the learning rate, eta rate is initialized to very small value. Now, you have not learned any pattern till now. Now what I will do, I'm going to pick a sample xk, that is input. Now, once I know the pattern, I'm going to find the difference between each one of the weights of the neuron. Let's say difference between W1 of the first neuron, W2 of the second neuron, Wn of the nth neuron. So one of them will generate the least distance between xk and wk. So xk and w1, xk and w2, xk and w3, so on up to xk into wn. So which one of them generates the least one, that will be known as winning neuron. Once the neuron is winning, okay, that is going to update the weight vector Wij one according to this equation. Once you update this weight vector, then continue this process and change the eta and change neighboring vectors. So once you are going to update the weight vector, the neighboring neurons and the present neurons are going to update their weight. Once you keep doing this process and change the weight vectors until there is no change between the successive weight vectors. So present weight vector W and the next weight vector W1 should not change very much. As long as there is no change in the successive things, then you are going to repeat this algorithm. Once this process is complete, then you are not going to update this one. Okay, but what is the use of doing all these things? So let us go for one application now. It's a pattern classification. What is the meaning of pattern classification? Suppose I gave you random patterns, so you should be able to identify to which class this pattern belongs. Suppose, let us say I given you a picture of cat. It should put in a class of cat, or dog. You should say it should belongs to the class C2 dog. Let us say I gave a picture of ship. It should be able to put in the vehicle class. Like this, I should be able to classify the pattern. So how do you do this one? So what we do, we will train our neural network with different set of pattern, and once a new pattern is given, it is uh, given for all the neurons. The neuron which will generate the least distance between this pattern and the input pattern will be a winning neuron. Such winning neuron output is be taken, and it clearly indicates that the pattern which you are given resembles the pattern which you are trained. So that's what actually happens in a human brain also. Moment when you train a person for a particular, by showing a particular set of pattern, let us say you are keep showing the picture of a ship, you'll assume how does a ship look like. So suppose that you show him a boat, he will think that it is not a ship, but the boat is very similar to the ship. But next, you if you give a cycle, then he will tell this does not belong to the category at all, because cycle is different, boat is different. Like this the training should happen. So let us take an example of iris data. Iris, if you clearly examine, there is an inner circle and an outer circle that we call it as petal length and petal width. Petal length is for the outer circle and petal width is also for the outer circle, and sepal length and sepal width is for the inner small circle whose width keeps changing depending on the light conditions in the place where you are staying. So there are, let us consider, if there are 50 patterns in a particular class, what we do, this is given for a Conohen map, and then once you train your neural network for a different iris pattern, so it gets trained depending on the inner pattern's width and height and outer pattern width and also height. Then what happens, once you take a grid of 8 cross 8 neurons which are completely trained for the map, then if we give a new pattern, new person's iris data, then one of which is best matching neuron, let us say cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3, will get identified. So whichever cluster it very nearly resembles, that will be considered as a output of the neuron. So instead of choosing all of them, it will tell yes, this whatever input pattern resembles 80% with the neuron 1, 60% with the neuron 2, 10% with neuron 3, like this it will indicate. So whichever gives you the maximum value, that will be considered for identification. Okay. Next one, we look into the phonetic typewriter. In the phonetic typewriter, automated speech recognition is a very important part, okay, and which is very difficult also. Suppose I speak something, your network should be able to write them in some sort of words, or it should be able to answer me. How do you do that? Each language is specific to its phoneme. Phoneme is the sound of the language. So each language has specific sounds. For example, if I say Rama, R is a phoneme which is pronounced as R, and Nim phoneme Yam is pronounced as M. Like this, there are many phonemes of each language. So in a particular pattern, what in this example we are taken an example of, let us say, a neural Finnish language, a particular language which has 21 phonemes, and a neural model is applied to the design is special supervised this one. Initially what we do, speech will be pre-processed and this FFT is taken, filtered and grouped into spectral channels into 15 component real valid pattern. So speech is taken into small segments, that is filtered, and those small segments are grouped into 15 different components and that are fed to the neural network, and neural network gets trained with a particular pattern. So instead of let us say, if you say hello, it will not get trained for the hello, it will get trained for the sound. Remember, we don't understand the script easily, we understand the sound. Once we do this one, after the we train the neural network for complete set of phonemes, it has 21 phonemes. Next time what we do, if a new voice is given, it will identify which sort of phonemes are present here. So once it identifies the phoneme 1, 5, 6, something like that, then all of them are concatenated. Once they are concatenated, and that will make a group, and that is used for processing, and then actually voice to text will happen. Okay, that is a separate category, but our aim is to identify what is the word spoken by the person. Okay, that is very important. Okay, this is actually a supervised learning, such that when you train it for a particular set of pattern, it is going to understand only those patterns. Suppose if you speak in some other language, then the network is not going to understand. If you train the network for, let us say, 20 words, it is going to understand the words which are similar to those 20 words only, but not with all of them. Okay, there are, even though there are limitations, but with the training, the network will be able to perform much better. Okay, did you follow this concept? Any doubt you have?